On this week's UBC From Here, studying urban demographics.
No doubt that being an immigrant shaped my passion for studying the role and impact of immigrants in Canadian cities.
Highlighting one of the Southern Medical Program's recent graduates.
I'm actually from Kelowna, so the chance to come back to my hometown and study medicine I think was really exciting and a good opportunity.
Better understanding Alzheimer's.
The fact is that as you get older, you know more people who are becoming demented. And because it isn't easy and there's no really effective treatment, then caregiving becomes a dominant theme.
And introducing the new head coach of Heat Women's Basketball.
There's going to be a huge emphasis on the work that's going to be needed to be put in the off season. And then I think the second thing that goes along with that is creating a vision that everybody understands and everyone is bought into.
I grew up in the Azores Islands in the middle of the Atlantic, and when I was 17 I decided to migrate to Canada. No doubt that being an immigrant, born outside Canada and living in the core of two multicultural cities like Toronto and Montreal shaped my passion for studying the role and impact of immigrants in Canadian cities. I always believe that if you work for UBC, it's important to continue your links with your previous study areas, but it's also important to give something to the local community. And then I start by looking in Kelowna, Penticton and Vernon at the role and impact of immigrants in this region. Most of the studies that we have today focus on the MTV, Montreal, Toronto and Vancouver, not in small and mid-sized cities. So since I joined UBC, I think part of my contribution to the literature deals with the role and impact of immigrants in small and mid-sized cities. My research is well received because most of my research has policy implications. If I look at the housing experiences of immigrants or Canadians in general, I try to look at the barriers, at the coping strategies that these people face, for example, to acquire affordable housing. So I not only try to identify the barriers, it's important to identify the barriers, but later on it's important for us, scholars, to tell to all levels of government what should be done to improve the quality of life to our residents. That's the type of research that can make a difference. In general, people don't realize that geographers also play a very important role in trying to understand and contributing to a better understanding of the problems that we face today in society. I think it's time to share more with the community outside academia what geographers can do. If I tell you that I teach courses like population geography, I'm not a demographer. I teach geography of housing and housing policies. I teach geographies of migration. I teach urban geography. I teach social geography. Look at the richness of those topics. Geographers will continue playing a very important role in understanding not only the internal structure of our cities, but also the different forces that shape our cities, the outcomes, and ultimately we will always try to find solutions to some of those problems.
It is my very great pleasure to introduce to you tonight Jay Ingram. Jay explores not only the physical mechanism and the devastating effects of Alzheimer's disease, but also the history of its discovery and its diagnosis.
It touches people probably of any age, but the fact is that as you get older, you know more people who are becoming demented. And because it isn't easy and there's no really effective treatment, then caregiving becomes a dominant theme. And caregiving is very difficult. And so honestly, half of the agony, actually probably more than half, is borne by the caregiver, not the patient.
He's got a remarkable ability to take a really complicated and multifaceted topic like Alzheimer's disease and bring it down to a place that an audience can understand without burying it in technical jargon, without burying it in statistics, even if they don't have an especially medically based or scientifically based background.
It's my belief that really most of us have three fundamental questions about Alzheimer's. What are my chances of getting it? If I don't like those chances, what can I do about it? And finally, if whatever measures I can take have been taken and I still get it, what's going to happen then? And so tonight I will address those fundamental questions, but I have to say there's a much richer and more interesting story surrounding Alzheimer's. And that's what I want to take you through that journey, and in the course of doing that, answer those basic questions. It could be a positive story in 20 years. I don't think it's going to be very positive between now and then, unless some discovery comes out of left field that nobody right now is anticipating. Because so far, the research, the hundreds of millions of dollars that have been spent on candidate drugs have really yielded nothing.
This is really one of the things that having a university campus in a city can do for a community and can do for a region, to attract big name speakers, people who are experts in their field, or people who are able to take complex information of great importance to a society and present it in a way that's very, very easy to understand. We've had a number of really, really great speakers that have come in because of this campus and because of that series.
What happens in youth that helps prevent Alzheimer's? First and most important, education.
My name is Claire Meadows, and I'm the new head coach for the UBCO women's basketball team. I started off playing basketball at Queen's University. I played there for 5 years. Once I finished playing, I stayed on as a coach, an assistant coach, for 2 years. I decided to go to University of Victoria. I did my master's there. That took me up to U of A, and then the lead assistant coach at the time got the head job at the University of Lethbridge, and then she convinced me to go down there with her, and now I've landed the position here. I've played it since I was probably 8 years old, so it almost became a part of my life, a part of my daily living. Some of my closest friends to this day are friends that I played with in high school, and of course friends that I played with in university. And now I'm in the position where I have an opportunity to influence young women coming up, and I think that's a pretty exciting role, and I feel honored to be in that position. The first thing that the athletes need to know and understand coming in is that players are made and players improve significantly in the off-season. So there's going to be a huge emphasis on the work that's going to be needed to be put in the off-season. And then I think the second thing that goes along with that is creating a vision that everybody understands and everyone is bought into.
Okay? Don't go until you make eye contact. Here we go.
I think that when everybody is on that same page and everybody is committed to putting in the time, that creates that winning culture that you want in programs. I think it's a combination of being really excited and for sure being a little bit nervous. They don't know a lot about me, I don't know a lot about them, so I think that creates a bit of uneasiness, but for the most part I think there's a pretty excited vibe floating around and everybody's ready to get back into the gym and get at it. UBCO is an incredible school academically, and I think the potential that exists in this program is pretty significant. So I'm looking for the best student athletes out there, both academically and athletically. And when you get those players who come in and who are ready to work, then we can do pretty great things with this program.
Being part of the first graduating class of the Southern Medical Program, I think is a big honor. I'm actually from Kelowna, so the chance to come back to my hometown and study medicine I think was really exciting and a good opportunity. And I think we kind of got the chance to develop a tradition here, and as the first year that's going through, we were able to start things off on a good foot. Robin Buna, graduating class of 2015, Southern Medical Program. I had a great experience here in Kelowna. I think in the first couple years we really got to know the faculty up at UBCO and get to know our classmates, and then in clerkship working in the hospital, we're really lucky to work with doctors who are excited about teaching. For example, I had a doctor who asked if he could sit down with me and teach me more about a certain patient case that we had, and I really valued that. The doctors were willing to take the time out of their days and teach us around patients and cases, and I think I feel very prepared to go off into residency after having that experience. I had a lot of good memories from working in the peds wards, and one of the memories that I have is working with a young patient and his family in the pediatrics ward here. And unfortunately he had to stay in hospital for about a week, but we were able to really work out his diagnosis, and I was able to learn about how to interact with the patient and interact with his family as well. I have been accepted into a pediatrics residency. In the next 3 to 4 years I'll be in Calgary learning at the Alberta Children's Hospital. I'm excited about that and being able to get to know more about the pediatric population, and then after that I need to still decide whether or not I want to specialize or work in more general pediatrics.